Have you ever stopped for a moment and wondered why your legs feel weaker as the years go by? Maybe you've noticed it's harder to climb the stairs, or that your knees ache after a short walk, or that your ankles swell up after sitting for too long. You're not alone. For so many of us over 60, these quiet struggles are all too real. And here's the heartbreaking truth. We often think it's just aging, that there's nothing we can do. But what if I told you that the foods you're eating every single day might be silently destroying your leg strength? Yes, you heard that right. Not all foods are your friends, especially as a senior. The meals and snacks you've trusted for years, the ones you thought were healthy, might be the very reason your legs feel heavy, your joints ache, and your mobility is slipping away. I know that sounds alarming, but knowledge is power, and today, I'm here to give you that power. As a fellow traveler in this sacred journey of aging, I want to help you protect your independence, your dignity, and your ability to move with ease. In this video, we're going to uncover the 5 worst foods that are silently ruining your legs in 2025. Foods you probably have in your kitchen right now. We'll dive deep into how they cause inflammation, weaken your circulation, and steal your mobility. And most importantly, I'll share the best alternatives to help you keep your legs strong, flexible, and pain-free. Before we begin, I'd love to know if you're with me. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a tip to help you live stronger, longer. Let's dive in, because the truth about these foods might shock you. And the sooner you know, the sooner you can take action to protect your legs. These aren't just random foods. They're ones that many seniors eat daily, thinking they're making healthy choices. But for aging bodies, especially after 60, these foods can become silent enemies, creeping in, causing harm, without a single warning, until it's too late. Let's start with the first food on our list. A fruit that's often praised for its health benefits, but for seniors, can be a hidden inflamer. I'm talking about pineapple. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Pineapple. Isn't that a healing fruit? After all, it's packed with an enzyme called bromelain, often touted for reducing inflammation and aiding digestion. And yes, for younger bodies. Pineapple can be a wonderful choice. But here's the harsh reality for those of us over 60. Our bodies don't work the same way they did in our 30s or 40s. As we age, our sensitivity to natural sugars and acidic compounds increases dramatically. And pineapple, despite its tropical sweetness, is loaded with both. Let's break this down. Pineapple contains high levels of fructose, a natural sugar that spikes your blood glucose rapidly. For seniors, especially those with prediabetes or diabetes, this spike isn't just a minor inconvenience. It's a red flag. When your blood sugar rises too quickly, it triggers a cascade of problems. First, it causes oxidative stress, which damages the tiny blood vessels that nourish your legs. These are the vessels that keep your calf muscles strong, your knees flexible, and your feet steady. Over time, this damage leads to poor circulation, meaning less oxygen and fewer nutrients reach your lower limbs. And what does that mean for you? Heaviness in your legs, aching calves after a short walk, and swelling in your ankles that just won't go away. But the sugar isn't the only problem. Pineapple is also highly acidic, and that acid can act like sandpaper on your already fragile joints, especially if you're dealing with arthritis or joint stiffness. Imagine this. You enjoy a few slices of pineapple as a snack, thinking you're doing something good for your body. But hours later, you notice a creeping stiffness in your knees, or a dull ache in your thighs. That's not just aging. That's inflammation. sparked by the very fruit you thought was helping you. And here's something even more concerning, especially for seniors on medications. Bromelain, that enzyme we mentioned earlier, can interfere with common drugs, like blood thinners, which many of us over 60 rely on. This interaction can make inflammation worse, increase bruising, and even lead to more leg weakness. The effects are subtle at first, which is why pineapple is so dangerous. You don't see the harm right away, but over weeks, months, years, your legs start to tell the story. So, the next time you reach for that sweet slice of pineapple, I want you to pause and ask yourself, is this fruit truly helping my body? Or is it holding me back? Because if pineapple, a fruit we've been told is healthy, can cause this much trouble, imagine what the next food on our list might be doing to your legs. Let's move on to the second food, one that's been a staple for so many of us, and is often called the ultimate muscle-friendly fruit. I'm talking about bananas. For decades, bananas have been praised as the go-to fruit for muscle support, especially because of their high potassium content. We've all heard the advice, eat a banana to prevent cramps, or bananas give you energy. And for many seniors, they seem like the perfect choice. Soft, easy to digest, and a comforting snack that feels safe. But what if I told you that this familiar yellow fruit might actually be sabotaging the very strength you're trying to protect? Here's the science behind it. As we age, our body's ability to process sugars and starches changes dramatically. Bananas, especially ripe ones, are packed with natural sugars and quick-burning carbohydrates, which convert rapidly into glucose in your bloodstream. Now, in a younger body, that glucose might give a quick burst of energy. But for seniors, it's a different story. That rapid sugar spike triggers insulin surges, which, over time, can lead to insulin resistance, a condition that's all too common in those over 60. And insulin resistance doesn't just affect your blood sugar, it weakens circulation in your lower limbs, meaning your leg muscles get less oxygen, fewer nutrients, and grow weaker with every passing week. You might start to notice the signs, but dismiss them as just aging. Maybe your legs feel heavy after meals, or you get a strange tightness in your calves when you stand too long, perhaps climbing stairs. Something you used to do without thinking now leaves your legs aching and tired. That's not just the years catching up. That's your body reacting to the bananas you thought were helping you. And there's more. Bananas can also cause water retention, especially in seniors with heart conditions, which many of us over 60 deal with. That extra fluid doesn't just disappear. It settles in the soft tissues of your legs, your ankles, your feet, creating swelling that makes movement painful and balance more difficult. Picture this. You eat a banana for breakfast, thinking it's a healthy start to your day. But by mid-afternoon, your ankles are swollen, your shoes feel tight, and walking feels like a chore. That's not energy. That's your body struggling, weighed down by a fruit we've been told is good for us. We've all grown up hearing that bananas give us strength, but perhaps it's time to ask, is that strength real, or is it just a quick burst before the crash? Because if bananas, a fruit we've trusted for so long, can quietly harm your legs, imagine what the next food on our list might be doing, especially one that seems so small and innocent. Let's talk about the third food, a tiny fruit that seems so harmless, so comforting, but can pack a big inflammatory punch. I'm talking about grapes. Grapes. They're bite-sized, juicy, and often associated with heart health and longevity. Many of us keep a bowl on the counter, or in the fridge, thinking they're a light, healthy snack. After all, they're natural, low in calories, and so easy to eat, right? But behind that sweet, delicate skin lies a quiet danger, one that can slowly eat away at your leg strength, your mobility, and your daily comfort, without making a sound. The problem with grapes lies in their high fructose content, the natural sugar that gives them their addictive sweetness. Unlike glucose, which your body uses for energy, fructose is processed directly by your liver, where it's more likely to be converted into fat, and, even worse, uric acid. For seniors, this is a serious issue, especially if you're already dealing with joint pain, stiffness, or fatigue in your lower body. When uric acid builds up, it doesn't just float around harmlessly, it settles in your joints, and it doesn't take much to trigger an attack. Gout, one of the most painful conditions for aging legs and feet, often starts with something as simple as a handful of grapes. Imagine this. You enjoy a small bowl of grapes while watching your favorite show, thinking it's a guilt-free treat. But that night, you wake up with a burning, stabbing pain in your big toe, or a sharp ache in your ankle that makes it impossible to even stand. That's gout. And it's not just a one-time thing. Even if you don't develop gout, the high fructose in grapes amplifies inflammation. And for a senior body already under strain, that inflammation is like pouring gasoline on a smoldering fire. What makes grapes even more deceptive is how easy they are to overeat. They're small, so you don't think twice about grabbing a handful here, a few more there, maybe some with breakfast, and before you know it, the sugar has added up. Over time, your legs start to tell the story: stiff joints, tight calves, slower movement, and a growing ache that nobody else can see. But you feel every time you try to rise from a chair. So, if something as small and sweet as grapes can have such an oversized impact, what about a food that feels so refreshing, but hides a surprising amount of sugar? You might be shocked to learn the truth about the next food on our list. If you're still watching and finding this valuable, please type 1 in the comments below to let me know you're with me. Let's move on to the fourth food, one that brings back memories of summer picnics, childhood joy, and the simple delight of a cool, juicy slice on a warm day. I'm talking about watermelon. For so many of us, watermelon feels like the perfect fruit, especially as seniors. It's mostly water, it's refreshing, it's easy on the teeth, and it seems so light, so healthy. But beneath that sweet, juicy exterior lies a harsh truth. Watermelon may be silently working against your leg strength, and worse, you might not even realize it. The problem with watermelon isn't just its sugar content. It's how fast that sugar floods your system. Watermelon has one of the highest glycemic indexes among fruits, which means it causes your blood sugar to spike rapidly, almost like eating candy. For seniors, especially those with prediabetes, diabetes, or slow circulation, that spike isn't just a number, it's a warning sign. When your blood sugar rises too quickly, it triggers inflammation, and your lower limbs, already more vulnerable with age, start to suffer the consequences. You might notice your legs feel strangely tired after meals, or that a short walk, something you used to enjoy, now leaves your calves aching and heavy. That's not just aging, that's the sugar rushing through your bloodstream, causing oxidative stress, and straining the delicate nerves and blood vessels that keep your legs moving. Even worse, your body responds to this sugar overload by retaining fluid. And where does that fluid go? To the soft tissues, your ankles, your knees, your feet. all the places where movement starts to hurt, and stairs begin to feel steeper than they used to. Watermelon tricks us because it feels light, but in your body, it behaves like a sugar bomb. And for those of us over 60, whose systems process sugar more slowly and recover less efficiently, it can quietly accelerate the loss of mobility. Picture this. You enjoy a few slices of watermelon on a warm afternoon, thinking you're staying hydrated. But by evening, your ankles are swollen, your knees feel stiff, and walking to the mailbox feels like a marathon. That's not hydration. That's your body struggling under the weight of a fruit you thought was harmless. So, if watermelon, a fruit that's mostly water, can cause this much trouble, what about a food that's been celebrated for its health benefits, but might be attacking your joints with every bite? The next food on our list might be sitting in your fridge right now. Let's talk about the final food, one that's long been celebrated as a symbol of health, but for seniors, can be an acidic attacker on your joints. I'm talking about oranges. Oranges. They've been a part of our lives for decades, packed with vitamin C, linked to cold prevention, and often recommended as part of a balanced diet. Many of us start our day with a glass of orange juice, believing we're doing something good for our bodies, a comforting habit that feels wholesome. But as comforting as this ritual may be, the truth is far more complicated and far more dangerous for aging legs and joints than most of us realize. Behind the bright color and tangy taste, oranges carry a high concentration of citric acid, a compound that, in excess, can irritate inflammation in your body, particularly in your joints. For seniors, especially those of us who already live with arthritis, bursitis, or general joint sensitivity, this acid can act like sandpaper, grinding away at already fragile cartilage. The result? A creeping stiffness in your knees when you wake up, a discomfort in your hips that lingers throughout the day, that familiar feeling of your legs locking up after sitting for too long. It's subtle until it's not. But the acid isn't the only problem. Oranges, and especially orange juice, are also high in natural sugars, which, when consumed frequently, start to disrupt your body's insulin balance. This leads to systemic inflammation, which doesn't just attack your joints. It affects your muscles, your blood vessels, and your connective tissues, especially in your lower body. Over time, you might notice not just joint pain, but also reduced range of motion, swelling around your knees or ankles, and increasing instability when you walk or stand. And here's the tricky part. Oranges feel so fresh, so familiar, that it's easy to assume they couldn't possibly be harmful. But your body, in your 60s, 70s, and beyond, doesn't recover like it once did. That glass of orange juice that used to energize you may now be slowing you down, quietly wearing down your joints with every sip. So, before you pour that next glass of orange juice, I want you to stop and think. Is this habit helping me or hurting me? Because these 5 foods, pineapple, bananas, grapes, watermelon, and oranges, aren't just random choices. They're some of the most common foods seniors eat, thinking they're healthy, when in reality, they're stealing the very strength and mobility. Now, I know this might feel overwhelming, maybe even a little discouraging. After all, when we discover that the foods we've relied on might be working against us, it's natural to feel a bit betrayed. But here's the good news. Knowledge is power. And with that power comes the opportunity to choose differently, to choose better, and to give our bodies what they truly need in this sacred chapter of life. Because aging isn't about giving up. It's about learning how to live better, with purpose, clarity, and care. For seniors, especially those of us who feel the aches of time settling into our legs, the solution isn't to abandon food altogether, but to choose foods that heal, not harm, foods that nourish, without overwhelming your system, that support circulation, ease inflammation, and give you the strength to rise, to walk, to move with freedom again. Let's start with berries, nature's true anti-inflammatory powerhouse. Blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries are rich in antioxidants, low in sugar, and gentle on your blood sugar. These tiny fruits work quietly in the background, protecting your cells, soothing inflamed joints, and boosting circulation, especially to your lower limbs. Studies, like one from the Journal of Nutrition in 2023, show that the antioxidants in berries, called anthocyanins, can reduce inflammation markers by up to 25%, helping to ease the swelling and stiffness that so many seniors struggle with. Next, let's talk about cherries, especially tart cherries, which offer incredible relief, particularly for those fighting gout or arthritis. Cherries contain compounds, like anthocyanins and flavonoids, that help lower uric acid and reduce flare-ups that can steal your mobility without warning. A 2024 study from the Arthritis Foundation found that seniors who consumed tart cherry juice daily saw a 30% reduction in gout attacks and reported less pain in their knees and ankles. Imagine that, a simple fruit, giving you back the ability to walk without wincing. Then, there's the quiet strength of avocados, creamy, satisfying, and filled with healthy fats that cushion your joints and reduce internal swelling. Unlike sugary fruits, avocados help regulate insulin, keeping your energy levels stable throughout the day. They're also rich in potassium and magnesium, two minerals that support muscle function and help prevent cramps, without the sugar spikes that bananas bring. Add half an avocado to your breakfast, or spread it on whole grain toast, and you'll feel the difference in your legs and your overall energy. Another gentle ally is papaya, a fruit that's often overlooked but offers incredible benefits for seniors. Papaya is packed with enzymes, like papain, that aid digestion, and its vitamins, like vitamin C and E, help ease inflammation. Its soft texture is easy on aging digestive tracts, and its low sugar content makes it a safe choice for those watching their blood sugar. For those of us who've grown weary of tough, acidic fruits, papaya offers calm, comfort, and energy without the crash. Finally, let's not forget about pears, a fruit that, when eaten in moderation and paired with protein or fiber, can provide gentle sweetness without overwhelming your system. Pears are high in fiber, which helps regulate blood sugar, and they're low in acid, making them easier on your joints than citrus fruits like oranges. Try slicing a pear and pairing it with a handful of almonds for a snack that supports, not sabotages, your leg health. At this stage of life, your food should work with you, not against you. Every bite is a choice toward strength or away from it, toward clearer mornings, easier steps, and the kind of peace that comes from knowing your body is being cared for, not just fed. And it all starts with the foods you choose to keep and the ones you decide to let go. As someone who has walked many miles through life, through seasons of strength, seasons of pain, and the quiet battles that come with aging, I want to speak to you, not just as a voice on the other side of this screen, but as a fellow traveler. On this journey we all share. Aging isn't easy. Nobody prepares us for the stiffness that creeps into our knees, the tired legs that ache after doing so little, or the fear that one day we might not be able to move the way we once did. I felt that fear, and I know you might have too. But if there's one thing these years have taught me, it's this: we are never too old to choose differently, to choose better, to choose strength. We grew up with the food pyramid, with doctors and neighbors telling us, eat your fruits, they keep you healthy. And for the most part, that was true when we were young, when our bodies were faster, stronger, and more forgiving. But now, in our 60s, 70s, 80s, and yes, even our 90s, our bodies speak more softly, and we need to listen more closely. The 5 foods we've explored today: pineapple, bananas, grapes, watermelon, and oranges, aren't bad in the way junk food is. But for us, for aging legs, sensitive joints, and slower systems, they can quietly steal what matters most: our strength, our balance, our ability to walk without pain. And for seniors, walking is everything. It's independence, it's dignity, it's freedom. You don't have to overhaul your entire diet overnight, but you can start gently to let go of what no longer serves you, to replace foods that inflame with foods that heal, to choose nourishment that gives energy without crashing your body. Be mindful of how you feel after you eat, not just what tastes good in the moment, but what your legs, your back, your energy tell you an hour later, a day later, a week later. That focus is wisdom. And at our age, wisdom is one of our greatest tools. If you're feeling a bit overwhelmed, take a breath. You haven't failed. You haven't done anything wrong. This isn't about guilt. It's about gaining clarity, about taking small, powerful steps toward a stronger, steadier you. Your journey doesn't end because you're growing older. In many ways, this is where the most intentional, meaningful chapter begins. So, from one senior to another, I urge you, protect your legs, protect your health, protect your future by being mindful of what you feed your body. You deserve to move well. You deserve mornings without pain. You deserve to enjoy the years ahead, walking, standing tall, and doing so with grace. Because it's not just about living longer, it's about living stronger. And that choice starts today with every single bite. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically as the incredible person you are. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned today that you plan to apply in your own life. Maybe it's letting go of pineapple, or trying tart cherries, or simply being more mindful of how your legs feel after you eat. Whatever it is, type it in the comments below, and let's help each other on this journey towards stronger, healthier legs. If you found this video helpful, please leave a comment with the number 1. If it didn't resonate, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means the world to me and helps me create better content for you. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Senior Leg Fit for more videos just like this every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Together, we can protect your mobility and live the strong, vibrant life you deserve. Thanks for watching. And here's to living life on your own terms, with legs that carry you wherever you want to go. See you in the next video.